friends, I'm here today with a really special guest. He has come from Germany, from Köln, and I have the pleasure to have him in Tirana since last weekend. We'll talk about him and his company. He's the founder of pirate.global and an investor in a startup in Albania. But I just want to go directly to him and let him the floor to explain us who is he and what is he doing here.
Thank you very much. My name is Manuel. I founded Pirate or pirate.global together with Till, my co-founder, 10 years ago, or 2010 actually. And we've always been ecosystem builders. So we always wanted to bring startup ecosystems together, entrepreneurs together, to share experiences and to share the journey together. And we founded it back then because there wasn't a cool conference or a cool meeting, let's say, platform or space. Till was still in university. I was doing my, I think, second startup back then. And we just thought it would be great for entrepreneurs to really meet and also to mingle with other entrepreneurs, but also with investors. And then it started, and from this conference, which we called Pirate Summit, we grew over time, and then Pirate Global emerged, which is now basically a holding company of various companies. So we have an event agency, we have and a few other agencies. Basically, we have a few investments into real startup products. And from that space we operate now, and the main mission is basically to help entrepreneurs succeed. So we building the tools, the shovels, etc., for entrepreneurs to have everything that they need to move on. We're going to talk about the investment that we did in Tirana in a bit. That perfectly fits into that mission, and we are very much not only interested in building businesses, but also building community, building ecosystems, helping more people than just ourselves, than just our companies. Because what we believe is if you do that in certain ecosystems, then the whole, let's say, the sea level rises and everybody profits or everybody wins out of that. So
that's a good point. That's why I wanted to go a little bit back again. Because you said you started 10 years ago, in 2010. How was let's say, the ecosystem in Germany by then, and how it has developed during these years?
Yeah, there have been so we are very much focused on Cologne and let's say the region which is North Rhine-Westphalia. Germany is 82 million people, so there's a big, so there are also other ecosystems. But let's talk about Cologne and the region there. There was a wave beginning of the 2000s where there was some good development with tech companies, and but then it stalled a little bit and it didn't really move on, or people also moved to Berlin, other hotspots. And in 2008, 2009, there was a little bit of dip where the ecosystem was not really developing, or maybe even shrinking. And that's what we felt. It was not something we didn't do a strategy there. It was just like, okay, there was this crisis and we don't know where to meet others. And then through bringing people together, we all of a sudden noticed that people got inspired, and that people noticed that there are also others that are doing similar things. They met each other, they helped each other. Entrepreneurs got access to investors, and then what I just said, this sea level rose, and then co-working spaces came. I don't know how many co-working spaces we had, but back then we didn't have one. Then the first one came, then the second one came, and now we have plenty. And those were the spots where people then really came, worked, met, created these connections, and that was very, very helpful. Now we have I would believe, a very healthy ecosystem. And once you get this initial traction, let's say, all of a sudden, startups grow that also employ people, right? Then you have the real benefit of that. Really, the whole city or the whole region profits because you have these entrepreneurs that started as 1, 2, 3 people companies, and now they have 40, 100, 150 people. So that really changed the landscape, and I'm very happy to also see that people that came to, let's say, Pirate Summit 2011, for example, that came with just an idea, now have a company of hundreds of people. It's just really, really wonderful, and you see that something is happening there, and it just feels good. There's a very good energy.
And together with the growth of the ecosystem, yes, you told that startups were coming out, they are becoming companies. What about you as a startup? What were, let's say, the first challenges of the Pirate Summit back then? Because it was just a summit, and then how it evolved to Pirate Global that is now.
Well, I'm probably not good businessmen, I don't know. We never really tried to build a real business out of that. We followed more our passion, and we wanted to do what we felt was good, was right. We actually, and we wanted to just meet other entrepreneurs. That was a very big idea, or like something that we wanted to do. That's why we traveled all around the world, came to Tirana, and I think 2014 or something, 2015, where I don't know what the ecosystem was really like back then, but we tapped into here and had a few people pitch their startups, and then the winner would go to Germany.
Yeah, I remember that. It was 2015, I think.
Yeah, I think we have been here twice, I think.
Yes, maybe twice.
But 2015 we were here, yes.
But on that 2015, you got 2 winners from Albania in Pirate Summit?
Yes.
And who were they? Do you remember?
I don't really. It was Angel, I think.
Angel.
And the other one...
Dentem, I think.
Oh yes, Dentem. Yes, Dentem. Exactly.
Yes, they were some of the first startups.
Yeah. So they basically pitched. They won the competition. We invited them to Köln, but that was a lot what we did. So we were not focused on extracting or being very commercial at that moment. We were focused on building a network. And all of a sudden, we had a network all around the world because we did these kind of pitch competitions. Mm-hmm. Basically from Cologne to Tirana to Tehran to Tokyo to San Francisco, like everywhere, and we pulled everyone together to the winners, let's say, to come to Cologne. That was, as you can imagine, that was not a financially very profitable endeavor to come to Tirana and have a pitch competition here. Nobody paid us to do that. We paid the flights ourselves. We came here. We invited the people to come to this event. But we thought that was just the right thing to do back then, and we just wanted to invite the people there and create a good experience for everyone, and maybe also inspire some that were pitching, for example, here or anywhere else, to have. To get a feeling of what community can actually be like, and when you build a community, what can happen out of that. And we see the fruits now, right? So many years later, actually, we see that something came out of that. We had a big shift moment in 2018 where we started to really build a business. To say, okay, we have a lot of contacts, we have a network, we can bring value to the world. That is not just, or we can, let's say, monetize the value, and then we the whole event business was put into a separate company, like a daughter company, and Till and we focused on really bringing our connections together and building something valuable, and also, let's say, building a business around it. But that was the moment was in 2018, and then in 2019 we came down here to Tirana, and then because we had the idea, okay, we know people here. We also looked at other countries, but then we said, okay, Tirana is a good place, totally neglected. We felt on the European startup map, nobody was looking there. That was at least the impression. But there are great people here. There's tech talent here. There are very friendly people here. The culture is very, let's say, European, if you will. And then we looked at, okay, what can we actually do in this ecosystem? And then we met Angel. We fell in love with Tirana or Albania, and we thought, okay, this feels like many years ago, maybe German cities felt. But there is so much creativity here. There's so much potential here that we can build something for, let's say, the mid or long term.
So you came in Tirana, decided to invest in a company, and you met Angel because he has been
to Pirate Summit. We met him here 2015.
2015.
At pitch competition.
Let's say, what attracted you as an investor at the company? I mean, you like the community, the tech community, the startups, but as an investor, how did you see it profitable, or what was your triggering point?
Yeah, it's I've been working with nearshoring companies since 2008, I think. So always working with companies that or with developers that were sitting abroad somewhere where this was not really fashionable. So we were doing remote work, and all the companies that I have built in the past always done remote work because it just made sense, and I also like to work remotely. So I by then had 11 years of let's say working together with developers somewhere else, and there is such a high demand for developers in Germany and Europe that you all know,
all over the world now.
All over the world, yes, absolutely. That I was always thinking in my mind, I need to make this accessible. I'm doing this since 2008, work with Macedonia, and there is other companies. Why aren't more companies doing that? And of course, some have, but a lot of companies they don't know how to. There's mistrust. They don't know how to actually set this up, how this works, etc. And then we basically said, okay, we have so much demand there. Everybody's asking us, do you know co-founder? Do you know developers? Because we were in the network and we're had a lot of connections. And we said, okay, we can help these people and also help an ecosystem. And then we looked at different ecosystems, ended up flew to because we have people in several countries that we considered, looked at how many people are in university there, how many people leave the university, or how many talents per year, etc. Looked at the economics of the country or the region, and then we said we are going to build this up and we are going to offer this in a, let's say, a pirate quality, if you will, so in a high quality to our connections in Germany and in Europe mainly. And we have these connections, they are just waiting for a trusted partner somewhere, and so we really scouted around who would be a good partner. We knew Angel, he was one of the people that we talked to. It was very quickly that we found a match there, and then we talked about how can we make this work. Discussions didn't take very long. It was fairly straightforward. How we wanted to set this up, because both parties understood that, hey, there's a win-win here. And always when you have a win-win, it's always good, right? You don't have to.
It's easy to merge.
Yeah, you don't have to negotiate a lot. It's just a puzzle. Okay, how can we make this work? How can we make this work? And then we started basically, and then we started to build this up.
You started it 2 or 3 years ago, I think.
2019. Yes.
2019, and now that we are in 2021, how has been this joint going? Are you satisfied with the investment, or you had other expectations? How is it going according to your expectations?
So we don't look at this from a, let's say, a month-to-month basis, or what are we going to achieve in the next 6 months or so. We are in this, we think more long term, in years and maybe also decades. We want to build something sustainable. We want to build a commercially viable platform, which we totally have, and then we can build more around that. Really have an impact on the ecosystem that we have here in Tirana. From an investment point of view, it totally made sense. It always depends on what is the main target, though, right? So. An investor wants to invest, and at some point he wants his money back. Yeah. Maybe wants an exit. We don't think like that. We believe in building profitable businesses and not only building high growth or fail companies, because a lot of these companies fail. And as an investor, it's easy if you have 10 companies and one makes it and it's really, really big. When the others fail, it doesn't matter. But for Angel, it's not like that. He has a portfolio of one, right? So we want to make this work. I think we did make this work. We have a very good prospect. So it took some time to set things up, processes, to get the quality right. But we will grow. There's a very clear growth trajectory that we are seeing. The forecast is good. So if you ask me, is this a good investment? I absolutely would say yes. It's a fantastic investment if you want that. But for us, it's more important than the economics. It's basically just we have a foot in the market. We have something working. Let's build something around that. So ask me in 5 to 10 years, was it worth it?
Okay.
Right? Because
I think we'll be here
in 5 to 10 years. If we have other companies that we don't have any influence with, right? But that other companies that got inspired by that story, other companies that were built because they saw this is possible, other investors that come here and invest into the companies here, then this was an investment that not only made commercial sense, but that in the end also really did what we wanted to do, build up an ecosystem here where everybody wins.
Yeah, that's a really nice point of view, because let's say you are like the first startups here 5 years ago when there were no startups. They started to do their own ideas, turn them into businesses, turn them successful, and then they inspired others. So this is the spirit in an ecosystem. You are among the first investors in Albania, in startups in Albania, and I got one sentence that you said: we made procedures and we also checked, we had the quality check. So how do you see the quality of developers in Albania, or the talent related to tech? Is it that there are a lot of talented people, or there are not? They have just to get upgraded or to get training. It's comparing, let's say, to other countries who offer this type of services.
That's a very good question. I think the main let's say difficulty here is that Albania has a problem with too many people leaving, and the main problem is that too many good people, smart people, educated people are leaving, because there are so many opportunities out there. So it's not. I'm not saying it's wrong from their point of view, but it's just a pity from an ecosystem perspective. What we intend to do is, what we hope that we can do is that people stay. That more people stay, that we bring money from Germany in and that pay people, and that people say, hey, I can make a living here, I can live a good life here, I don't have to go abroad somewhere. Stay here, build something. So if more people stay, then there will also be a better hope that we build this ecosystem. The quality point of view, I think there's a lot of talent here. So there is a lot of talent, a lot of good talent here. People are motivated, they want to do something, they want to also learn something. So it's not a lack of motivation, it's a lack of direction, I would say. So we need to help them to not only learn from YouTube videos, but also to learn on the job, if you will, right? They need to be educated, and then they can start, but to really gain the expertise by experience. And that's what we hopefully can provide with Division 5. But what we get in the market is not enough. That's why we founded Kodo. That's the basically coding academy, which is three months intensive, let's say, course or education program to educate more people. Some hopefully will choose to work for a Division 5. Others will work somewhere else. That is totally fine. But we need to educate the whole market. So if we have more people that are educated, if we have more tech talent, this can really become a tech hub. I really think so. So if we think 5-10 years down the line, we can really, but have the people stay here, we can really make an impact, and everybody in Albania will in the end profit.
I like this approach when everything you do is like benefiting in higher level to also others, to
Yes.
the whole ecosystem, and then hopefully they will stay and work at Division 5, but we increase the level of quality for the entire market.
Yeah, that's how I can. If you ask me, is it a good investment? If that comes out of it, then it was a worthwhile investment, right? I also like to spend my time here. It's not only about financials, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's we want to have more impact than just building a profitable business.
On your perspective, because now you know more about Albanian innovation or startup ecosystem, we do not have much investors like you, let's say. We do not have an angel investors association or funds. How do you see it? Why investors are not coming, let's say, in Albania? They do not see talent, they do not see enough mature startups, or they do not know nothing about the ecosystem. What's your point of view on this?
We are a very unusual investor because we care about more than just the finances. So it's very hard for people that care about finances to go to Albania and to invest into startups. Most startups here will fail because of several reasons, and it's somewhat there aren't just not so many startups there. There's a certain insecurity there. There's no help, no mentors, no something. It's complicated. The legal process is not streamlined. It's not usual to have so if you go to the UK or the US, all the documents are there. It's very, very simple. You just fill in some numbers and then you go, basically, right? I'm a little bit exaggerating here. It was a lengthy process, and other investors would just say, hey, listen, this is just too complicated. Why do we do that? No, we went here and we said, no, we want to do this, and we want to invest in an Albanian entity, right? And we went through the whole process, and it was very time-consuming. So somebody that looks at time spent, money spent for potential return says, this is way too complicated.
I have other things to do.
Yes.
Bring me money. Yeah.
In that point of view, also, it might not be the smartest sense to just have a commercial investment here, right? If you just look at the finances, it might not be the smartest sense. So Albania has a lot of, let's say, homework to do to also make it easier, more attractive for investors to invest here. But I want to tell everybody out there, it is possible to invest in Albania, right? It is possible, it's totally doable, and I hope that there will be more people that follow what we have done. We are very open to do another or two or three investments if there are people here with a good idea, with something where we can also help, right? We are so if it's really a win-win, not just a financial investment, but something that helps also the ecosystem grow, something that is not only the Albanian market, because that's something that we cannot help with, right? If you target the Albanian market, you better go to a person that is really familiar with the market. But we can, if you target the European market, maybe the German market even, that's something that we believe really help with. B2B is mainly our focus, so we'd be very open to explore potential opportunities to invest more. So and we have picked Albania as this is the country, this is a place that we want to be active in for the next whatever years it is, maybe decades even, right?
I see.
And just help and connect with startups, people from the ecosystem, and potentially invest. It makes a lot of sense if we can be helpful. But it would be even better if other people also come in, bring their money in. If other people, maybe also from the Albanian ecosystem that have money, that understand how startup investments work, look outside, look to the US, wherever, and maybe also change it from the inside a little bit to make it more attractive and easier to invest.
Thanks a lot for this type of call that you are doing. So I think many startups who will be seeing this video might find interest in pitching or in contacting you. If you may say, are you interested in certain sector, let's say fintech, tech, I don't know, to invest, or you're just open to any idea?
So we are open, we do B2B. That's important. Market needs to be beyond Albania, beyond the Balkans even. Most likely markets that we know well, so it's more Central European markets. So that would be an approach, but it can be worldwide as well. But B2B is good. We don't have a certain niche. They're B2B in a sense that it targets SMEs, would be helpful. So we have a very good network with entrepreneurs, with small and medium-sized enterprises. And there we can really help also bringing in customers, these kinds of things. So we'll be very open to those kind of business ideas.
That's great. Now we have an ecosystem that is getting, let's say, it's mature, it's getting better. Now we have the networks. If 5 years ago or 6 years ago we had just some startups, some activities that would support some competitions, now there is donor organizations which are trying to support sustainability of initiatives. We have initiatives from the ecosystem, initiatives from the government. We have a platform now which is called Albania Tech that is created on purpose so that the whole ecosystem can be reflected there, trying to unite and activate every actor, but also promote the Albanian ecosystem internationally. And we, of course, will be good to have ambassadors like you with what you're doing, your own example, like investing and opening up opportunities for Albanian startups, but also in terms of support Albania Tech ecosystem to be promoted worldwide. It was a really pleasure to have you here. I have met you another time and it's good to welcome you now again with all this good news, because last time you weren't yet an investor, but now you have another hat. And let's see on the next 5 to 10 years, where are we going to be?
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to point out Albania Tech, that's exactly, these are the initiatives that the ecosystem needs. So you need the people that communicate about what is actually happening. So I can't be more thankful to you and what the whole crew is doing to bring this out to the world, to make it accessible to the world. It's really, really good. Also, all the co-working space, etc. What you might need is a big, cool event as well. I mean, we're in the event space, so we know what kind of impact that may have. You may also attract international people. So I really feel that something is happening here, something good is happening here, and I really, really hope that this will turn out great for everybody in the ecosystem. Really, really great. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Manuel. See you next time.
Thank you.